this session so that if there's other people that want to watch it when we're finished, they will be able to access it. So we are being recorded. So today is October 7th and we are in week 4 of comprehensive distance learning. And we're kind of moving this week into a couple of real specific things related to some parent support. So I want to talk about those. I don't anticipate that we will be here for an hour, but we are scheduled for that long. So if you have lots of questions at the very end, we will make sure that we address all of them. So just as a reminder, our virtual norms and agreements are just that everybody stays muted except for myself as the presenter, and then that way everybody is able to hear. Also, please don't unmute yourself unless asked to do so, and I think we'll have some time for that at the end when we have some Q&A time. We will answer all of those questions at the end of the presentation. If you have specific things you'd like me to reach out for you specifically, please type your name and your email address in the chat, and I would be happy to follow up with you after this webinar is over. Our agenda today is to talk about our parent support team, how you contact them, what their office hours are, where you can access their tutorials. Just make sure that you have all of the information that you need related to those folks. And that will also include some things about our website. So we'll kind of do both those at the same time. And we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about parent observer accounts, just how to get them set up, how to adjust your notifications if you're getting more information than you wanted. If you've already set it up, we can talk about how to adjust those. And then also, if you want to set up a separate and additional parent observer account, we'll walk through those steps as well. We will talk a little bit about the rest of October and kind of what we will do. We'll have 2 more October webinars, and so we'll cover those really briefly at the end as well. So just want to let you know that we have people that we have hired, and they're teachers that are part of our parent support team. They have evening office hours on Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 8 o'clock p.m. And they are basically hosting some recorded Google Meet sessions. So if a parent had a specific concern or had related to their child's Canvas course, like something wasn't working or they didn't know how to access something, that they would be able to log into that Google session and be able to ask their questions live and get some support that way. They will also be providing tutorials, and again, I'll show you how to access those here in just a second. They are all teachers, and you can see here who those people are. So let me go out of this for a second, and I'll show you how to access them. So this is also a flyer that went out. I know that it was posted on Facebook, and I think your schools also sent it out. And it just gives you contact information for how you would reach those folks. So let me go out of here a minute and go to our district website. So get myself to that place. And then right here, this return to school information in red, I'm going to click on that. And then up here, you can see that there is a parent resource link. And so I will go to that link, and I'm going to go down to virtual learning tutorials. I'm going to click on that. And then right here are going to be all of the places where you can get information related to the tutorials that are being offered, as well as the parent support too. So this has all of our links for our different folks at each building. And so if I had a question about 4th grade and I wanted to be able to have somebody help me navigate something related to Canvas for East, I would click on this between 7 and 8 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, and I would be able to ask Ms. Bernard specific questions, and she could go in there and take a peek at what the classes are and be able to help me navigate some of that. You can also, you'll see that each one of these is a live button. So if I wanted to see what sort of tutorials are out there for South Prairie, I can click on this button, and it's going to take me to a Google Drive that has demonstration videos for things that we've heard from parents are things that they're needing a little bit of like a how-to on. And so they are no longer than 5 minutes. Most of them are around 2 to 3 minutes, somewhere in that range, just real short little demos on how to just what are some of these things, as well as like, let's just give me kind of an overview of what it looks like. So the Seesaw 101 is one that I know a lot of parents have been appreciative of. And so what I would do is just click on this, and then I would be able to access Mrs. Allen's Seesaw video and be able to learn a little bit more about Seesaw. Each one of those, each one of these buttons will take you to a different place for you to be able to access specific things related to your child's school. Those are kind of constantly under construction, and so there's 4 in the South Prairie tutorials today, but if you come back tomorrow, there might be more. So one of the ways that we are figuring out what sorts of tutorials need to be listed in these different places and available to you is through a survey, a parent support survey. And I think it's my understanding that all of the schools have sent that out. And if you haven't received it yet, I'm sure that it's coming. It also has been posted on Facebook as well. So that would be another way for you to say like, oh, this might be something that I would like a little tutorial on. And then our parent support team are creating those and putting them in each one of these places. Right, I'm going to go back to this. This is just another way of taking you to the same place, same thing that I shared with you already live. This is what our survey looks like. And so again, just looking for what are some tools and knowledge that you need to be able to help support your children during virtual learning. And so some of the things that we've heard are on here, but please use this other column also, or this other slot here, to write down other things that maybe we haven't thought of yet. And then the other thing that we would like to know is just how would you like this information delivered to you? So again, another one that we've heard is video tutorials. We are doing those live webinars with myself, but then we also have those Q&A sessions, those open Google Meets in the evenings. And another one that we're starting to hear more is that parents would just like a how-to document to read. And so sometimes we don't have time to sit down and watch a video, but we could kind of read if we were waiting for our, I don't know, spaghetti noodles to cook or something along those lines. And then if there are other ways that we can support parents and families during distance learning, please fill that link in as well. Want to talk about parent Canvas accounts. I know this has been a number of questions that I've received over the last week. So just want to remind you that we have created a Canvas parent account for you. And the way that we did that was by using the login that you would use for Parent View. And Parent View is for elementary, what you use to register your students for school. Same thing for secondary, but you also would access Parent View to be able to see your children's grades in Synergy as well. If you cannot remember your Parent View username, then please email this number down here on the bottom, tech.help@tsd9k12.org, or you can also call the high school directly, extension 2270. You can call me or send me an email, and I'd be happy to get that information to you as well. Once you have your Parent View username, so mine is Rhodes K, so right here in the middle where it says login, mine is Rhodes K. And so I would take that username, and then I just need to put a TI and an underscore before it so that it is, this is all of our Tillamook accounts have this. And so then you just need to go in and reset your password. So I just want to show you what it would look like. This is the website that you need to go to. I'm going to click on that. You can't just Google Canvas, as I'm sure if you've already tried to, you realize it doesn't take you to the place that you want it to. And I'm actually going to need to use a different browser because I have 2 Canvas accounts. I have one as an employee for Tillamook School District, but then I also have a parent account too because I have children in Tillamook School District. So I'm going to go to the website, and it's tillamooksd.instructure.com. And then you're going to go to login in Canvas. And so when I get here, I would put in that login that I just told you, which is that TI underscore and then whatever my Parent View login is. If this was my very first time, I would put that in the login and I wouldn't write anything for the password and I would click forgot password. And what that would do at that point is generate an email that would go to the email address that's associated with my ParentVue account. And then I can just click on the link from there and change my password. So I already have one. I've already done those steps, but I want to kind of show you what that would look like. So then once I click login, then it would take me and I'd be able to see all 3 of my children. So if I scroll down to the bottom, lots of notifications. We'll talk about how to turn those off in just a second. Then I can see my 2nd grader, my 3rd grader, my 5th grader. I can see PE at East, and I can also see PE at South Prairie. So what's nice about having it automatically connected through your ParentVue account is that it automatically will generate all of my kids into one place. And so that's how we have made it so that you don't have to do these separate pairing codes. However, if you want to set up a second account, right? So this one, obviously I'm the one that registers my children for school, but my husband wanted an account as well. And I would like to, their grandma is the one that is kind of helping them with their schoolwork during the day. So if I wanted to do a separate parent account, right? That's not just me, right? So one was automatically generated, but then I want to add my husband or I want to add my, my children's grandma in here as well. Then I do have to use a pairing code. So this is where some things can get a little bit confusing, but I want to show you how we would go through those steps as well. So if I go back here, back to Google, I need to log into my student's account. So the pairing code is going to come directly from your child's Canvas account. So I have to log myself out. So I'm going to go down here and sign out. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to sign in. I'm going to sign in as my daughter. And once I get here, just as a reminder, I use this little waffle and I click on it and I go all the way down to the bottom to Canvas and I click on that. So when I get in here, you can see all her dashboard over here, but I want to be able to get her pairing code because that's something that I'm going to need when I go to log in. So here's a good example. So I'm not going to log in. I'm going to go here to parent of a user, right? Because I'm going to create a different account. So I'm going to show you how you would do it if you, so like I'm going to add grandma. So her name is Kimberly Turnbow. I'm going to put in her email address. I'm going to create a password for her. And then I get to this place where I need this student pairing code. So again, that comes directly from your student's account. So if I go back over here and I'm in, my daughter's name is Indiana, I'm in her account. I need to go into settings. So I just clicked on this little person up here at the top and I'm going to go to settings. And when I go to settings, I get all of this stuff, which kind of looks a little bit scary. The only thing that you need on this page is over here, you need pair with observer. I'm going to click on that and it's going to give me this code. And so I'm going to copy that code and I'm going to say, okay. And then I need to go and paste it in here. So I'm going to paste it there and I'm going to click start participating. And now all of a sudden she can see all of the things for Indiana. So you will notice that hers is different, right? So I was telling you that I had 3 kids. So when I went through my ParentVue and used it that way, the one that was generated by the school district, all 3 of my kids were in one account. Now that I've created it with the pairing code, I would actually have to get a pairing code for each one of my children through that same process to be able to pair it with this account. So, and the way that you would do that is if I click on observing, then I can add another student here. So let me go back and show you how to do that. So remember on the dashboard, this is where I could see everything related to Indiana. If I click on account, right? So I'm in grandma's account now. So if I click on account and I want to add another student, I would click on observing. and then I would add in another pairing code here. And the way that I would get that for my third grader is I would have gone into his Canvas account, got his pairing code, and then I would come back into grandma's account and put it in there. So this is one of the reasons why we created Canvas accounts for you, because it gets a little bit, there's a lot of little steps. They're not difficult, but they do require going from screen to screen, and it gets a little bit complicated. So I would put Tatum's pairing code here and click add student, and then I would click add Finn's pairing code and click add student, and then she would be able to see all three of them as well. I know I went kind of fast. That's what's beautiful about it being recorded, is you can always go back and stop and pause and walk through those steps. All right, so I'm going to log her out so I can get back to things that we were just talking about. I'm gonna log myself back in and go back to here. So those are the steps to get your parent Canvas account working. So hopefully, again, you're welcome to call me anytime, and I'd be happy to walk through those steps with you as well. And I already went over how to do a second one. So the rest of October is really just going to be spent addressing the needs that we receive through parent feedback. So we just want to grow our understanding of virtual learning resources, strategies, and tools. I'm kind of providing you this overarching district perspective, but there are also, again, we've tried to make building specific tutorials, as well as some evening office hours in case you have specific questions related to what's happening within the classroom of a student at one of those buildings. We also know that some of you have children at multiple buildings, and so that's why we created common evening office hours, so that everyone can, so you could log into the East one if you needed to, and then the junior high, but it would all be within that same hour. I think you'll be very impressed if you do access that resource. You'll be very impressed with our teachers, and they're really excited about being those support people. So I hope that you get a chance to have them help you. We are going to do an evening parent webinar next week on the 15th, and then we'll do another one on the 28th. And again, I don't anticipate it being a lot of new and different information, but it is one way to stay kind of current and connected. I know I talked about many of the same things today that I talked about last week. But again, it's always accessible to you. You can log in as needed. And then if you find that our agenda isn't something that you are interested in learning about, then you're welcome to just log off. So let me keep going here. Again, this is my contact information, so please write that down. Feel free to call me, feel free to email me. And now I'm going to stop talking and give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you may have. I'm going to stop my screen share. And does anybody have any questions? I don't see anything in the chat. Feel free, if you do, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
I have a question.
Okay, hi.
Is there, how often is the parent view updated if we're just used to using that?
You mean your like weekly progress for grades? Is that what you mean?
Right. I have 2 high schoolers and it doesn't seem to be accurate at all.
That's a good question. I do know that they were waiting a couple of weeks till they had actual, like, what they felt like were grades that they could put into Synergy. So they felt like they needed to kind of wait a little bit and let it kind of roll in. I think that my understanding, and I could be wrong, but my understanding is they're going to be, I think last Friday was the first Friday that they needed to have accurate updated grades. And then they're going to kind of roll. So it'll be like a week at a time. Or maybe every 2 weeks.
I was just used to looking there for if they actually had their work done, even grade. And, you know, they like, I currently, my kids have like solid Fs, and I know that's not true.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. Is so we really wanted to make sure that parents like went directly to Synergy for the most updated, accurate grade. Um, I guess I would just reach out to the teachers and or have your students do that and say, you know, is there something that you're missing, like something that I'm missing, like what are we? And you might even give them like the rest of this week to kind of to get everything sort of updated and refreshed and ready. Because we did have a little bit of issue with Canvas and Synergy that they're friends, but they don't always play nice together. So the grades don't always sync as smoothly as we would hope. But I think we've figured out most of those issues. So you should, excuse me, start to see those grades being more reflective of what they're doing. So it's kind of like Canvas is where you would go to find out what they should be doing on a daily basis, and then Synergy will be what is their current grade. And if
Oh, so I do have to use, I've just always used Parent View, and it's mobile and it's easy. It's a one click, but now I do have to use Canvas to actually look at what their missing assignments are and such.
and hopefully those two things will be like more, they'll look a little bit more similar just in terms of like what you have for like the grading portion of it. So Synergy is their actual grade. So I would say if it is looking like something is amiss, like feel free to reach out to those teachers and just say, hey, you know, how, like, is there something that he's missing or she's missing that we can be working on? How can I support my kids at home? I think I would just do that. Feel free to reach out to them and say, you know, is this accurate? Like, are you know, I think so.
I did, but the response I kind of got in general was we're only going to update that once a week. And so I was like, oh, that's not going to be very helpful because by then it's late.
Right. So I do, again, my understanding is that students have the ability to go back and redo some assignments. And so I don't know if there's a late policy. I can't speak for the high school and what they have, whether or not they're penalizing for anything late. So I guess I would recommend as a parent, like knowing what's in Synergy, and then also like knowing what your children are doing on a weekly basis. It's because we roll it from week to week, it's hard to update grades kind of in the middle, which is why like having it be Friday to Friday in terms of updating grades was what we were hoping would be kind of everything would sort of roll that way. Does that make sense?
Kind of, but I guess basically you're saying I will have to use that Canvas program if I want to see that they've actually turned an assignment in.
I think just in this world, that's going to make the most sense.
Okay, I haven't not yet, so I guess.
Hey, Diane. Canvas Parent is also a mobile app that you can use too, so that does make it a little bit more like Parent View in that regard.
I guess I just have to figure that one out then. Okay.
Do you want me to put, Diane, do you want me to put a something in the chat that would like be a link you could click on to go to download the mobile app?
Yeah, that would be helpful because I'm just usually at work, and like I said before, Parent View was just so easy. I could click on it and be like, oh yeah, they're missing this or whatever. But like I said, at the moment, I can look at both my kids and I know that it's not true, but they have, you know, really bad grades, and it's just because it's not updated.
I know what you mean. I know that that's part of something that we are trying to make sure is accurate for families, but I know that that's difficult.
Yeah, I just wanted something simple so I can say, hey, you need to be home working on, you know, you still have these assignments left for this class. But it sounds like I'm going to have to just get some help figuring out the Canvas, which I have not done yet. So.
And feel free, like if there are certain questions that you have related, like once you do get in there and you want to know kind of where things are located, feel free to call me. We can do even one of these where we can just get into your student's account and kind of look at them together.
Oh, okay. That would be great.
So we can, that's an easy.
Yeah.
Do you
right.
have, while I look for this, an Android or what kind?
I have an Apple.
Okay, perfect.
And that would be good. And I'd like to say I haven't spent it much time trying to figure it out yet. I'm not the most tech savvy person, and that's why I loved Parent View before, because it was pretty current, and it doesn't seem to be that way this time. And so I'm just relying on my kids, and they're like, I don't have an assignments, they just haven't been graded or looked at or updated, or so I'm just trying to keep my kids on task here.
I know what you mean. We're doing the same thing at my house of like, well, did you do that? Did you not do that? And part of it is, just as everything's new and we get better at it, then we know kind of what we're looking for. And we also know from the teacher side what makes the most sense to a student and to a parent. And so I'm hoping, I feel like we get better at it every week. And so I think just remembering that line of communication is always open. And so if you see concerns on the Parent View side, and then once you get more comfortable with Canvas, if you feel like there's something amiss, just reach out and let us know so we can kind of look into it a little bit more.
Yeah. One suggestion might be, and maybe it was just my kid, but he has one teacher for 2 classes, and there was something different the way she did it than others, where he did the work, but then apparently you needed to go into ICEV, something different, just to submit it. He's like, I did all this work.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't realizing that he actually had to do about multiple more steps to actually submit the work.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a little confusing, because it was different than what was.
I know what you mean. That and that's part of it, of like, our teachers build them a week at a time, and so when they do that, if once students get in there and start working on things, if they start to realize there's something in there that they needed to explain a different way, that's why that feedback's really helpful, because then they'll build it differently the following week.
Yeah, and for him anyways, it was really different. That he's like, I did, there was a lot of assignments, but apparently she didn't see any of them, because you had to submit them a different way through that other system besides Canvas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which was not the case for his other classes. So I was kind of confused why this isn't all just kind of a standard.
I understand that. I think part of it, and I don't know what course you were specifically talking about, but I do know, like, some of our curriculum that we use, when we use our district adopted curriculum, they sort of have their own online platform that some of them, again, are like really nicely integrated within Canvas, and they talk really nicely together, and some of them don't. And so as we sort of add a little bit more meat each week, sometimes that creates like a different problem that we didn't see coming, but one we can solve, and we can create it as a way to submit assignments, but it's just not always exactly where it may have been the previous week. So same thing, like Julie, I see you're asking the question that asking for a login and password, and you haven't seen that before today. I think it's probably in Canvas somewhere. Maybe you and I, when we're done here, can kind of go in there and look at that. I do know, as teachers are adding in some Lucy Calkins things, that there are, I do believe that within in their Canvas somewhere, that all of those logins and passwords are there, that it shouldn't be a login that you need, that it would already be in the student's Canvas account. It's probably just a matter of like where to click it to find it. So hopefully that answers that question. And again, I know, like, our teachers are trying to figure out like where is the best place to put information so that it makes the most sense to our students and our parents. And we're trying, this week I think looked different than last week, because we tried to make it a little bit more uniform and kind of put them all in one place. Again, that's a little bit difficult, just a little bit difficult, because people build their Canvas pages and they try to make them uniform and alike, but sometimes when you say one thing, it gets interpreted a different way, which I think we're all doing the best we can with trying to make the information as accessible and as user-friendly as possible, because we know that that's the coursework, right? And it's all in Canvas, and how we organize it matters. Hope that answers your question. Anybody have any other questions? I realize I did not go over how to change notifications on your Canvas parent account. I can either go over that now if you guys are interested, or I can just create like a little tutorial, and when I send this out, I can include that as well. It's a quick and easy little 5-minute thing. Anybody want to see that right now? Okay, yes, no. I'll just wait. I'll include it as a separate video when I send this one out. And I'll also post it on our website as well. Anybody have any other specific questions? Anything else I can answer? Okay, well, if something comes up for you, please reach out, give me a call, and let me know, and I'd be happy to address them with you. And have a great rest of your week.